Hello, in this video I'll show you how to make pistachio ice cream. To start, we need our pistachios. Pistachios can be hard to find at the store sometimes, but it's very important to use unsalted pistachios. The only unsalted pistachios that I could find were shelled, so here I'm deshelling the pistachios. Total, we'll need 1 cup of unshelled pistachios. It's important to use unsalted pistachios for 2 reasons. First is the extra salt can just make your ice cream taste way too salty. The second reason is because if we have too much salt in the ice cream, it can actually lower the freezing point of the ice cream, making it more difficult to set. The salt molecules will actually get in the way of the ice crystals that are trying to form, which means that you have to have a lower temperature before the ice crystals can fully form. Aside from using unsalted pistachios, we also want to use roasted pistachios. The roasted pistachios add an extra boost of flavor. If you can't find roasted pistachios, you can roast them yourself. I would recommend putting them in the oven at 350 degrees Fahrenheit for about 10 minutes. Once I have a cup of unsalted, roasted, deshelled pistachios, it's time to add them into the blender. I also add 1/4 cup of granulated sugar and grind these until the pistachios are fine. The smaller that we're able to grind the pistachios at this point, the more surface area we'll have exposed in the dairy when we're making our ice cream base, which means the more pistachio flavor that we're able to get into our ice cream. In a saucepot over medium heat, I add 2 cups of heavy cream and 1 cup of whole milk. I recommend using whole milk because it has a higher fat content, which will make a richer ice cream. However, if you don't have it, you can use 2% as well. Next, I add in 1/3 cup of corn syrup. If you don't have corn syrup or can't use corn syrup, you can add in a 1/2 cup of sugar. The use of corn syrup in our custard base is so effective in helping to create a really creamy custard. Custards are really creamy when the ice molecules inside the ice cream are so small that we can barely feel them. Using corn syrup instead of granulated sugar helps us to create smaller ice crystals because the sugar molecules that are in corn syrup are more effective at interrupting the ice crystal formation than the sugar that's in granulated sugar. Next, I add in 1/4 teaspoon of almond extract, followed by our ground pistachios. Then I stir everything together and heat to about 140 degrees Fahrenheit. It's best to temper eggs when creating a custard base because it avoids having any scrambled egg clumps in your ice cream. Egg yolks will start to clump together at 150 degrees Fahrenheit, which is why we're heating this to 140 degrees. Then we'll pour this into the egg yolks. While the base is heating up, separate 4 eggs. We'll only be using the egg yolks, so you can use the egg whites for other recipes or discard them. I like to use leftover egg whites to make baguettes. Once I have the 4 yolks separated, I add in 1/4 cup of sugar before tempering the eggs. The fat from the dairy and the sugar that we've added in will dilute the protein that's in the egg yolks, which actually raises the cooking temperature, so the yolks won't start to clump together until about 180 degrees Fahrenheit. Diluting the proteins is one benefit of tempering eggs, and the other benefit is that it allows us to slowly bring up the temperature of the egg yolks without making the proteins go into shock. Once the dairy in the sauce pot is between 140 and 145 degrees Fahrenheit, it's time to temper the eggs. I add 1/4 cup of liquid at a time to the egg yolks while stirring constantly. Once that first cup is fully integrated, I add in another 1/4 cup. I repeat this until I have a full cup of liquid added into the egg yolks. Then I pour the egg yolk mixture back into the sauce pot. I whisk everything together until it's fully incorporated, and then I stir regularly until this mixture reaches 170 to 175 degrees Fahrenheit. That temperature is hot enough for the eggs to fully cook, but not so hot that they start to gel together and form scrambled eggs. I also add in a couple drops of green and yellow food dye just to make the base look a little more appetizing. Once your custard base is between 170 and 175 degrees Fahrenheit, you can pour it into a heat-safe bowl to chill. Let it chill in the fridge for at least 6 hours or until the custard base is about 40 degrees. The cooler that the base is before we turn it in the ice cream maker, the faster it will freeze, and therefore the smaller the ice crystals will be. Before churning the ice cream, I like to rough chop some pistachios. Again, these should be roasted and unsalted. We prefer to use these as a topping on top of the ice cream. However, if you want to incorporate it into the ice cream, you can add it in during the last 5 minutes of churning. The final step before churning the ice cream is to strain it. Rather than dirty up another bowl, I'm going to strain it directly into the ice cream machine. I strain the ice cream to get rid of any potential egg clumps and also to get rid of the gritty texture from the ground pistachios. I strain the custard base right before churning it rather than after we take it out of the sauce pot because it gives us a couple more hours for the pistachio flavor to really infuse into the dairy. Once all of the ice cream base is in the ice cream maker, I let it churn for about 25 minutes. The ice cream will look pretty runny when you first add it in, but after 25 minutes, it should thicken up considerably and churn a lot slower. Just look at how nice and creamy this becomes. Now you can eat the ice cream as soft serve with some pistachios sprinkled over the top, or you can scoop it out into an ice cream container and let it harden overnight. Either way, it's a delicious treat that you're sure to enjoy. Thanks for watching this video on how to make pistachio ice cream. Let me know how it works out for you in the comments below, and as always, like and subscribe to see more content.